Oh my God, what the hell is this? He's gonna try it! And will this be enough? My God, how do you take it?
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Ruckus Wrastlin. I am Josh Maber, alongside my tag team partner, who's just like Julia, powering through it. Okay,
yeah.
Powering through it.
Not 100%.
Yeah.
Like last week, still a little sick.
Yeah.
Hanging in there.
So just deal with, ladies and gentlemen. We're here. Thank you, Justin, for fighting through it. It's going to be kind of a hopefully we can bring you all the Ruckus Wrestling goodness that we can, but we're a little under the weather, but the show will go on.
Yes.
Which, speaking about that, a little news. Not a whole lot of news going on. So I kind of had to grasp at straws here. No big major things happening. Scott Steiner was on Van Fleet, and he was talking about the math stuff, which made me cackle. And then his name.
I tell you, he's been racking up some great interviews lately.
Yeah. Steiner, because you're always going to get him.
He's been wanting Steiner. He's like he said, he's been trying to interview Steiner for like 6 years.
Yeah,
he finally got him.
Yeah, because that's the thing is when you
not because Scott didn't want to, it was just scheduling.
Right. Yeah, but that's the thing. That's why we love Scott Steiner, because when he's on an interview, you get Scott Steiner. He doesn't put on a front. You get him. You get the man. He doesn't hold back either. Just like his promos, it was always a work shoot promo when you just gave a microphone to Scott Steiner, even if he was trying to do math, which arguably is the top 2 best promos of all time, which you didn't think it would be, but as far as like how much is it's costed, but you can also add his name to the list of wrestlers who hate Hulk Hogan.
Yes.
Which no surprise. It's kind of crazy how more and more time goes on and everyone's just like, yeah, Hogan was an asshole.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's why he got booed. It wasn't just because of his political stances. It's because he's also just not a very good person. For what I don't know him personally.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just telling you of what everyone else that has been around him says.
Yeah.
So I'm just telling you what has been told, not me personally, but this is what apparently is true. Then, yes, Jeff Cobb, of New Japan Pro Wrestling, has been on AEW a couple of times here and there. Looks like his contract was up for New Japan. People thought, oh, okay, he's going to join Will Ospreay and all of his cronies because he was part of the United Empire or whatever it was called in New Japan. You thought it was going to be there. According to Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful Select, looks like he's already been added to the internal roster for WWE, which... honestly,
he's still trying to get that doubly confirmed. You hear that from like one source.
Okay.
So I don't know if we can. I think he was saying don't take it as gospel at the moment. All we know for sure is that is what he's hearing. They're definitely interested in snatching him up,
right?
Which would make sense because he's awesome.
He's awesome, and that is exactly what the NXT men's division needs: is a Jeff Cobb insertion. Because really right now, the main roster, you can put Jeff Cobb there, but he's going to be kind of, he's not going to be like a Penta or something where he's going to come in and stuff like, because Jeff Cobb really isn't known. He's known within the wrestling community, but not for the casuals, whereas NXT would be perfect for him. And plus NXT is getting ready they're probably going to lose Trick. Ethan's killing it. So Javon and everything.
But he's up there. He's not like a spring chicken. He's 42 years old.
He's up there. I'm just saying, like, he's not as known stateside as
and it would make sense for him to go to NXT for like a little bit. It's like, there's some people don't have a problem with it because they want to learn how to do things the WWE way, especially if they're never worked there before. That's why Julia, Stephanie Becker, and Jordan Grace are all in NXT right now. Jordan though more for it's WrestleMania time. Can't have any plans for her. Might as well have her go spend some time in NXT and have banger matches with people, like the Prodigy this week.
I mean, it's the Prodigy. You're going to have a banger match. It just happens to be whoever the Prodigy's opponent is going to definitely get highlighted by it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's unfortunate it happened, but I knew it was going to happen. So I already, just like when you know someone is unfortunately it's their time, you kind of get yourself mentally prepared for it. And
yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah, you get yourself mentally prepared for it. So I was mentally prepared, but man, did her and Jordan put on a show.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that. The other thing is WWE.
If they pick him up, if they have, it sounds like either they have or they haven't. It's like we'll see. It's like that's a big get.
Yeah. Jeff Cobb would definitely be a big get. And also, as far as WWE moving on, little small nuggets here. They have removed on the website Freaking out of Seth freaking Rollins. They've taken out the Big and Big Bronson Reed. And I thought there was another one that they also took out, and I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, I saw about that. Their nicknames are still elsewhere, but like on the roster page, they're everyone's names are just listed there, not like any additional extra nicknames like the Freakin or Big.
Yeah, I didn't mind the Big Bronson Reed. I thought it flowed really well. The Seth freaking Rollins, I never really cared for, honestly. So I was okay with it anyway. Yeah. But I think the Seth freaking Rollins is more of, I'm going to make you famous type of line that Undertaker drops every once in a while. It's like when he gets to that point, it's like, oh, you're messing with Seth freaking Rollins. Like it's better on a promo and not every, oh, Seth freaking Rollins this, Seth freaking. I just think that's more of it works better as a promo than your actual full name on the website. He's been Seth Rollins forever. Like and I get it. The Messiah and all the other Monday Night Messiah, they were just trying shit back then. But I couldn't find the third one. I like I said, I really don't care either way.
Yeah.
But I think this is just them slowly moving on from the Vince McMahon stuff. And I think that was what Vince McMahon did. That being said, Bronson Reed was let go by Vince McMahon. Triple H takes over. Bronson Reed comes back. So I don't get that. I don't get that discussion that I'm seeing of people like, oh, it's just them slowly getting away from Vince McMahon. I'm like,
yeah,
but Big Bronson Reed was let go by Vince McMahon. Didn't think there was anything there. And then Triple H has been booking him amazingly until he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that. I mean, any thoughts on that carried away?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then another little thing that I saw out there, a little article, I guess there was an interview with Jey Uso, basically confirming what we figured. He's not going to main event one of the nights. He's probably going to kick off the show because he basically said, I don't have to main event, but it's going to be but I'm going to put on.
It's going to be memorable. Yeah.
It's going to be memorable. And I'm like,
and that's what most people are expecting. I mean, because Cody Cena is slotted in for night 2. The question is, what is going to be the main event match for night 1 is the question. And
I think we kind of got our answer on Raw. It just depends.
Yeah, that's most likely. Although I still would like to see it's been too long since the women, and it's unfortunate. It's all about what they feel is like got the biggest story.
Right.
It's just that I really want to see the woman get the main event slot again on one of the nights. In the near future.
Yeah, and the way Io and Bianca,
because it looks like we're going. We'll talk about it. It looks like we're heading toward the triple threat for the women's title,
and I think that match is going to cook.
Yeah, that match will cook.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm with you. I was like, I would kind of want to see that triple threat because it's for a title, but how many times are you going to have Roman, Punk, and Rollins? You really don't get that every day. Just with how Roman's schedule is and Punk and what he's trying to do, I don't think you're going to get, and with how long, who knows how much longer Punk's going to be full-time wrestling, because he's getting up there in age, just like AJ Styles and everything of that nature. So, Jay's still getting Jay's going to win the title, guys. I mean, it just, unless something crazy happens where he gets another DUI or something like that.
But that'll just piss the fans off, so they don't want to do that.
No, there's way too much merch. And I mean, Christian Harloff was at Madison Square Garden. I don't know if you saw his video, but he was like, "Wow, it's even the same live. Like how crazy people go for Jey Uso."
But yeah, I forgot to ask you if you saw Harloff's tweets because
Yeah.
he was at the MSG Raw.
He was there with the UFC fighter, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But he was there at the MSG, and he was like, okay, because I think that's the first time Harloff's been to a wrestling event in forever.
Yeah, it's the first time he's been to like a wrestling event live in a long time. So,
yeah. For those who don't know, Christian Harloff, internet personality who used to be a writer for the WWE way back when.
Big wrestling fan.
Yeah, big wrestling fan. So
he moved back to New York last year. So
yeah,
he's back in the city.
Yeah. So any other news nuggets? The
only one that I caught my attention is that looks like Miro and CG Perry are not Splitsville, and they are back together. In fact, recently announced that they renewed their vows. They contacted TMC to let them know that, so apparently they separated, but they never filed for divorce, and they ended up just working things out and are back together. And so that's great. Good for them. Glad that they work things out. Divorce sucks. Glad that they're back together and they're happy. So who knows? We may see both of them go back to WWE at some point. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Miro's, I'm pretty sure. I mean, Alistair, we know is.
Oh, Alistair for sure is coming back.
He's already been. I think he's been basically 99% signed.
I wonder if they're saving him for after Mania.
Probably,
because the word is that it sounds like Asuka's ready to come back. They just haven't come up with anything. So that, and there's no her coming back before Mania. Now she wouldn't be able to do anything at Mania anyway. She wouldn't have a match. Like really have a match. So I think they're saving Asuka's return probably till after Mania.
Yeah,
which makes sense.
Yeah. Here's what I want to do. I want to do Revolution that leads into Dynamite instead of just doing the pay-per-view. So I want to start out with SmackDown first.
Sure. Sounds like a good idea.
I'm going to do that just because I've got some thoughts on Revolution, even though I was like, man, it was so good. And then it just, and then I was like, okay, you can make it up with Dynamite. And then
I will say, I'll give a shout out to Prime Video. I purchased Revolution through Prime Video, and the stream was like smooth as up, no problems whatsoever.
Nice. All right. So highly recommend. That's the way to
go. Up from
for
Amazon for streaming AEW pay-per-view.
Yeah. Okay. So you would recommend for all the people out there, if you want to.
I had no issues whatsoever with the stream. I heard some people had like some issues on Triller TV with the stream, which is unfortunate. So maybe I'm glad I chose to do it on Amazon instead of that.
Yeah. All right. Let's do SmackDown.
Yeah. Okay, here's a recap of last week's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. Show opened with a promo from Randy Orton. Took shots at John Cena for turning heel. Then turned his attention to Kevin Owens, calling him out on his BS about why he attacked Cody and him and Sammy, saying it's all about his jealousy, and that in the end he's going to prove that Pat McAfee's the second best punter in WWE, which basically means he's going to punt his head in. Then we had Tiffany Stratton versus Piper Niven in a non-title match. Tiffany won with a pretty smooth salt ever. After the match, Flair ran in and attacked her, chop blocked her, put her in the figure eight. Nick Aldis went over the issues with the tag division recently and said that his solution is to have DIY versus Street Profits next week. And this week, the other three teams will be in a triple threat number one contenders match. Winner will face the winner of DIY versus the Profits next week. And for that triple threat match between Motor City and Machine Guns, Pretty Deadly and Los Garza, Pretty Deadly surprisingly picked up the victory to earn the number one contender spot. They recapped things happening in Elimination Chamber, and then Bianca Belair came out for a chat. She called out Naomi, trying to get some answers. Naomi kept deflecting, but Bianca kept pressing her. And finally, Naomi admitted that, yes, she's the one who attacked Jade Cargill. She tells Bianca that she did it for her, for them, that Jade is no good, and that she's just been using Bianca, and that's why she took her out. Bianca said she couldn't believe that she did that and says that they're done. Naomi tried to reason with her and got pissed off, called Bianca an ungrateful bitch. Jade Cargill then came down Bianca had a stare, but she kept going, won the ring, and beat up on Naomi again. Drew McIntyre, they're showing footage from earlier in the show where he attacked Damian Priest as soon as he saw him. Drew says he blames Priest for costing him his chance to main event and get a title shot at WrestleMania. Says pretty much saying he's going to make him pay. They showed footage of Cody Rhodes surprising Lex Luger at DDP's place to let him know that he was going to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame this year. Charlotte had words about why she attacked Tiffany. B-Fab came up, and that led to a match between them next week. They had Braun Strowman and Solo Sikoa in a match. Tama Tonga ran in for the disqualification. He fought them off. Then Jacob Fatu and him got into a big brawl that led to him choking Jacob through a table at ringside in the stands. LA Knight cut a promo promising he was going to beat Shinsuke and get the U.S. title back. Chelsea Green tries to get Piper Niven to wake up. She's still selling, getting waylaid by Tiffany earlier. So we had a street fight for the Women's United States Championship. Chelsea Green defending against Michin. Piper's taken out of the match, and just when it looked like Michin was going to win the title, a hooded figure pulled her out of the ring. It was revealed to be Alba Fire, dressed in a suit. She laid out Michin with a Canadian destroyer onto some chairs and put Chelsea on top to get the victory and retain the championship. And later in the back is revealed that she has joined her Secret Service detail with Piper Niven. Santos Escobar was writing as Los Garza about losing earlier. Andrade talked to Berto saying that he shouldn't be treated that way. Cody Rhodes came out promo about what happened at Elimination Chamber with Cena turning on him. They announced that Cody would be on Miz TV next week. And after some things Miz and Carmelo said in the back with the response of Randy Orton, Nick set up a match between Randy Orton and Carmelo Hayes for next week. They announced the next Saturday night's main event will take place on May 24th. Then we had Drew McIntyre versus Jimmy Uso. Drew picked up victory in short order with the Claymore. Afterwards, Damian Priest ran down to attack Drew, and security had to separate them. DIY cut a promo promising that they were going to take care of the Street Profits next week. Then we had our main event, U.S. title match, LA Knight challenging Shinsuke Nakamura. The finish came when Nakamura tried to miss LA Knight, but he dodged and it hit poor Little Nate Charles Robinson instead. He was out. Knight took advantage, hit a BFT onto a steel chair. Another ref came down, and LA Knight pinned Nakamura to become a two-time United States Heavyweight Champion. He celebrated the fans to close out the show. So that's all that happened on last week's episode of Friday Night Smackdown.
Let's not bury the lead. Freaking the Bianca Naomi stuff. I mean, Jesus. Like, whoever got that, scripted it, whatever. Mm-hmm. Bravo. Just, oh my, that was, I know people were getting on crap. Oh, the women's division couldn't be booked. All this other stuff. Are you not entertained?
Right.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah, this storyline's off to a really great start here. Well, it's been going on for a while, but now it's gone to a really good level here. Now that, although the memes were everywhere because she's like, "I did it for you, Bianca," and immediately.
Oh no, yeah.
It went to right
her
to
on Rikishi's face. Like, I did it for you. As soon as she said, I was like, "Oh no." I held it in, but then I was like, "This." I
started laughing. I was like, it's like Rikishi. It's just like,
I did it for you, Bianca. I did it for the. Oh God. But no, that whole segment was great.
The work that they put in that segment, it felt the way that they were talking. It felt real. It didn't feel scripted.
No.
Yeah. This could be very interesting to see Naomi as a heel now. So
I'm about to say, when's the last time she's been a heel? It's got to be
I don't remember her
ever being heel.
Work in their WWE here, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really know that. Nakamura's title run was pretty blah.
Ugh. Complete waste.
Yeah.
It's like, what was even the point? I'm glad that LA Knight got the title back finally.
Yeah. I mean, he's the right guy to go into Mania with, but who do you think is going to be his, like, are we going to have it?
That's going to be an interesting question. Maybe we'll get a clearer picture in the next week or two.
Because the thing is, he's already gone through Hayes. He's already done Andrade.
Yeah.
So I don't really know where you go
maybe
here.
Mello.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Mello would be the first one I would think of.
But poor Mello's got a match against Randy in Spain tomorrow. It's tough.
Yeah.
Oh, warning to people here in the United States, since starting with tomorrow's SmackDown, Raw and SmackDown are going to be overseas for a few weeks before coming back to the States for Mania. So there will be spoilers because the show will start at around like 3 p.m. Eastern time here on the East Coast, and it will air in tape delay on USA later tomorrow night. So spoilers are going to be all over the internet about what happens on the show because of the time difference. And kudos to Netflix for choosing to start the Raw stream live when it actually happens. So that's going to be like also at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So Raw's actually going to start at 3 p.m. Eastern time on Monday because they're going to be in Brussels. So, I mean, you'll be able to watch it later in the evening if you want, but if you have like the day off from work or something, you can be able to watch Raw live in the afternoon.
Yeah. No, it's going to be interesting to see how that's going to work. But yeah, Netflix is trying to just be like, all right, when it go, they said that when they made the deals, like when it happens, it happens.
Yep.
Because they have the ability to do that.
And plus, after it airs, the VOD, the show is immediately able to watch. So it's like you have to work. You don't have to wait for the VOD to show up. It's there immediately after.
It's your typical PLE on Peacock. Yeah. Like when what was like in the afternoon that when was the Money in the Bank that Priest won? That was super early.
I think that was the London one.
London. I knew it was over in Europe.
Yeah, that started at the afternoon because of the time difference.
Yeah. Because I'm sitting there at 3:00 and I'm looking at like Priest won. Okay. And it's 3:00 in the afternoon. I'm like, okay. Kind of going back to the show. Yeah, we were all thinking. So I'm glad that they're adding to Chelsea's cabinet, but this was supposed to be Blair Davenport's role. It's like a bittersweet thing of like, I'm glad Alba
has something to do, especially because her tag team partner Isla Dawn got cut loose. So
yeah,
glad that they're giving her something. So
I'm just honestly like, why would they let Blair and Isla go, but keep Alba and then do exactly what they were planning on doing with Blair to begin with? That's the question I would need answered.
I think that obviously they still see something in Elfire, formerly known as Kaylee Ray. So, I always thought she's a good wrestler.
Yeah, NXT UK, her in-ring stuff was really good.
It's like she crushed it in NXT UK and NXT. It hasn't gotten outside of the tag team title run, hasn't gotten to do much on the main roster. So I was like, now Chelsea's going to be even more insufferable because now she's got two people acting as her Secret Service bodyguards at this point. So,
and I like it. I like it.
No, it's going to make it's going to add more heel heat. You know, it's like the fans already love this stuff as it is. So
yeah.
Also, God bless Chelsea Green for the Cactus Jack inspired ring attire.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it as a diehard fan of Mick Foley. I appreciated her shouting him out like that. I do love that she put like her logo over instead of the Cactus Jack face.
Yeah.
But it was basically she was basically dressed like Cactus Jack.
Yeah, a lot of Cactus Jack nods this weekend because she wasn't the only one to do it.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was a match. And then I liked how they booked Piper against Tiffy, so that way you're like, well, how's Chelsea going to get out of this one? And then that was a good.
Yeah, I really thought that Mia was actually going to win, and then I was like, when the ref got pulled out, I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, but the thing is, her and Meechin have such good chemistry. Like those hardcore matches are so fun.
Bad for Meechin, she just got screwed again, man.
Yeah, I know. She's like the Chris Statlander of the WWE. She's like right there. She puts on great matches, and she definitely goes out there and does it.
Yeah, like her and Toni Storm and Rhea Ripley helped build that NXT UK's women's division back in the day.
Gotcha. Okay, that's why I asked the question, because I knew she was good, but I didn't watch NXT at the time. I didn't watch NXT UK. I just knew the name.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to touch on before we get into the Cody promo stuff?
I still love. I've come to like Ciampa's new stick with the moment of silence, and then Brian Saxon immediately says something, and Johnny's like, "Dude, moment of silence."
I mean, it's DIY, man. It's
heel DIY. I love right now. I just love it.
Yeah, and heel DIY and the Street Profits are. That's
going to be a banger in Spain tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, it's all going to a fatal 4-way ladder match for the titles at WrestleMania.
It's going to there's going to be more clusterfuckery.
Yeah, because I think Los Garza is on the outside looking in when it comes to Pretty Deadly, Street Profits, Motor City, and DIY. I mean, they could do a 5. They've done it before. I just don't think they will. All right. Freaking Braun and Solo.
I thought Randy's promo was fine. It was a good start to the show.
But, Randy with the, John was always rock bottom.
Yeah, I was like, that could have been a little bit better, Randy. But
yeah,
what he said about Kevin Owens though was really good. So I was like, that's pretty. That's not a great line, but all right.
Yeah. Randy's stuff good.
Cody's promo was awesome.
Dude, Cody. When people sit there and like, oh, Cody's washed, blah, 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 I'm like, Cody makes money when he gets on the mic, dude. And then his matches are always good too. There's a reason people love Cody, reason he draws, reason they
I love how he brought up Cena's catchphrase of never grew up. It's like, well, you gave up, John.
Right.
You gave up on yourself and gave up on the fans when you sold out.
Mm-hmm.
So now apparently he's not going to be on the show in Spain tomorrow, but Cena will be on Raw in Brussels on Monday.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We'll be there.
That's going to be very, very important. Cena's first post heel turn promo.
Yeah.
That's going to be big.
Are they doing what are you going to do with Big Jim at this point? He's lost in the fodder to me right now. I know what they're trying to do, and I think Jimmy deserves his flowers and should be booked this way.
It feels like he's kind of like stuck in mid-card limbo right now.
Yeah, because it's like he's a face, and so is LA Knight, so that's feuds out. So that you can't do that for United States title.
I love. Everyone knows I love Drew McIntyre. And I do love Damian. I do enjoy Damian Priest a lot, and I think they'll have a really good match at WrestleMania. But I think they both deserve better. They
both deserve better, and there's no stakes.
Yep.
I mean, you have enough weeks to build it, and I've been out on certain things and then be bought in by WrestleMania because that's how wrestling works sometimes if you do it right. I just never have bought it because you're just like, it just feels like a Tony Khan.
It feels like a filler feud, even though it does nod back to last year's WrestleMania because he cashed in and took the title from him after he beat Seth with a little help from Punk.
I know, but Drew never brought up. It was always about Punk. It was never about Damian.
Yeah, this only became a thing starting in the Rumble when first Priest tossed him out of the Rumble, then Priest pinned him in Elimination Chamber. So now Drew wants pounded fleshed out.
Right, I get that, but I just still like just a little bit story beats.
Yeah.
If Drew at least acknowledged that
This
Damian,
hasn't been a thing since they had the title match at when he cashed in.
the King of the Castle, when Punk screwed him over.
Yeah, when he fought Priest at Clash of the Castle, and Punk came out as the replacement ref when the ref got bumped and fucked him over.
Right, but it was never a feud with.
That was the last time they had issues until
the
Rumble,
and it still felt like the only reason Drew had an issue with Damian was because he had the title, but it was so overshadowed by him and Punk. That's why I just can't buy into
it. Right, because it's like he wasn't mad at Priest. He was more mad that Punk fucked him over. It's like he didn't blame Priest for taking advantage of cashing in.
No, because he would have
done now it's like now it's more about like, well, you fucked me out twice out of getting a title match at WrestleMania, so now I'm going to make you suffer.
Yeah, LA Knight and Drew would have been really good.
God, yes.
Yeah, that's a good call there, but you can't. I mean, you can pivot technically now. You have enough time. I just don't think they will.
Because
Drew is
This has been been set up since the Rumble.
Yeah, and it's been rumors for a while. No, I thought it was a mid show. Really,
it was a mid show with some highlights for sure.
Yeah, I mean the Naomi Bianca stuff, great. But like the Braun Strowman solo stuff, the Jimmy McIntyre stuff, meh.
I did like the whole brawl, Strowman against the artists formerly known as the Bloodline.
Yeah, I mean we're getting Solo, and as far as like a non-title like match at WrestleMania that I'm looking forward to compared to Drew and Damian is Jacob and Solo. I'm more excited about seeing that than I am because there is a story there that I've been invested in.
Yep.
So that's it there.
Yeah.
Any final words?
No, I think that sums up SmackDown.
All right, let's move on to Raw.
All right, here's a recap of what happened on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw from Madison Square Garden, New York City. Show opened with Jey Uso taking on Grayson Waller. Jey Uso picked up the victory. After match, Theory attacked, and he was able to fight him off, but then Gunther sneak attacked him again, laid him out with the sleeper, and had to be taken off of him by officials. Logan Paul came on promo running down the fans, saying Cody Rhodes is stupid to turn down the Rock's offer. He would have sold his soul in a second to get all the money, power, and the championships. Then he went and went after comedian Interstolz, who was at ringside. And ended up attacking him. AJ Styles came up to make the save. Logan Paul ran away. And this is definitely setting up a WrestleMania match between the two. They recapped Io beating Rhea for the Women's World Championship last week. Then we had the New Day taking on the LWO, Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee in a tornado tag match. Someone, presumably Chad Gable, in an American-made lucha mask, interfered in the match to assist New Day, allowing New Day to hit their combo finisher on Rey Mysterio to pick up the victory. Finn Balor is still annoyed about the Braun Breaker situation, but Dominic told him that he talked to Adam Pearce, and all he needs to go is let him know that he wants a title shot against him in Brussels next week on Raw. Balor hugged him, thanked him. Cody Rhodes came out and cut another promo about the John Cena heel turn. Then we had Bayley taking on Raquel Rodriguez. Winner would face Lyra Valkyrie for the Women's Intercontinental Championship next week. Raquel picked up the victory with the Tejana Bomb. Kathy Kelly tracked down Chad Gable back and he denied being the masked man, which Kathy Kelly said called them and said it was BS. But behind them, someone wearing the mask was shown being escorted out of the building by security. And Chad Gable just told Kathy Kelly, "I told you so," to her confused look. A lot of celebrities were shown to be at the show because it was in MSG. Michael Cole brought out Io Sky to the ring for an interview, being champion and then facing Bianca. Bianca came out to respond. before they could get talking very much, Rhea Ripley came out, called out what happened last week. Her and Bianca got into it, and they both ended up shoving Io out of the way like she was an afterthought. That pissed Io off, who slapped both women. So this is definitely setting up a triple threat at Mania, it looks like. Then we got to the main event, a steel cage match between CM Punk and Seth Rollins. Most of the match, they didn't care about trying to win the match. This was rules were escape along with pinfall submission. They both gave the opportunity to walk out of the cage, but they kept trying to destroy each other. They kept hitting each other with their finishes, kept kicking out like it was 2K25. The finish came after Seth hit a super stomp on Punk, was leaning against the ropes with the door opened by their officials. Before he could take any action to try to escape the cage, all of a sudden, someone grabbed him from behind and pulled him out of the cage, giving Seth the victory over CM Punk. And that person turned out to be the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. Roman was back to get payback on Seth for what he did to him at the Rumble. Speared him, stomped him, went to stomp his head on the steps like he did to him at the Rumble, but Adam Pearce, an official, stopped him. And that's when he knows that Paul Heyman was tending to CM Punk, making sure he was okay in the ring. That pissed off Roman, who went in, grabbed Punk, threw him against the ropes, and speared him, and left him lying in a heap, and stood tall over him with a shocked look on Heyman's face to close out the show. So that's all that happened on this week's episode of Raw at Madison Square Garden. You're muted.
It's about time he came back.
Yeah, as soon as they set this match, I knew Roman was going to show up. I was wondering, like, was he going to show up during the match or after the match? Well, he showed up near the end of the match, and ironically helped Seth win the match by dragging his ass out of the cage so he could beat the shit out of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was because
I
I kept sitting there looking at it. I was like, where's Paul? Where's Paul? Oh, that's how they're going to do
it. The whole main event, in my opinion, saved a very kind of meh show as well. This for MSG from Raw, it wasn't a bad show, but it wasn't like a great show. The main event really saved the show, because otherwise I would have been like, that was kind of a okay show. You'd expect more from, when they're in fucking Madison Square Garden, man. It's like, the tornado tag match was good, and the whole angle with gracias.
Yeah,
that
was hilarious.
But other than that, it was more kind of like didn't feel special. You think it should when they're in such a historic arena where so much WWE history has happened.
Yeah, let's move on to this one. Styles never. I mean, him and Logan Paul could kill it.
I think him and Logan Paul could have a low key banger match.
Yeah.
I mean, just seriously, I don't mind this. I think gives them both something to do, and we can have a banger match out of it. So I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Something
really just felt off about this show. I'm sorry. Something felt off.
Yeah, it did. And it was clear to me during the Bayley Raquel match where the crowd was dead.
And then Raquel went over.
Invested in the match because of Bayley. Not even Bayley could get them invested in that match. They just did not give a fuck.
No.
And that's an issue that's been going on the main roster with the women's division outside of the main storylines, is that there aren't much else as far as storylines go outside of Io, Bianca, Rhea, and Charlotte Tiffany, which are building toward the two big.
And then whatever Chelsea Green does.
Chelsea and Lyra are barely getting anything. At least Chelsea's getting to do some character work. Lyra isn't even given the chance to do character work.
No.
And you just throw this match out so that you can have a contender. There's no storyline. It's like
this is what we've said about AEW and their indie booking. This was the most indie booked.
Yeah.
Because like at least I get the and the
He was
thing
like,
is,
well, we need to give Lyra another contender, so let's have this match. It's
okay.
I was like, while literally this match, I'm like, for the love of God, Roxanne, please show up and like do something.
Because I was about to say, like, I'm sitting there, I'm looking at it, I'm like, so tell me you don't have anything for Bayley without telling me you have nothing for Bayley.
Obviously, this is why that we
need the prodigy
to happen, because Bayley obviously they don't have anything big planned for her.
No, which
sucks.
Which sucks because it's fucking Bayley. Excuse my French.
She won the Rumble last year, and she got to have a big title match at Mania and beat Io in a great match.
Yeah.
So this year she got nothing going on. It's like come on, man.
Right.
The silence during that match made me go just like, oh man, this is not good.
Where's New Day gonna go? I feel like they've been just leveled. Ever since their turn, they've been a couple things have been good, and now it's like
the heel turn was great. The booking has not helped them. They still got heat.
It's still the New Day,
but yeah, and they're still getting the heat. But this feud with the LWO, I get what they're trying to do, but it's not setting the world on fire. It's like
But I did like the Chad Gable thing.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely made me more intrigued with it. But I was hoping for more vignettes from Chad than just one vignette, and now he's back.
Yep.
With that, so I really wasn't big on that. Dominic slowly. That's the other one. They took the dirty out of Dirty Dominic Mysterio. That's what they did. On the website, I mean, they're still going to be. I mean, he's dirty. It's what it is. But yeah, the whole Judgment Day stuff, it's still kind of boring as hell. Don't care. And I'll think about that. JD McDonough was on Chris Van Fleet recently, and he said that it was his like 7th rib that punctured his lung. And I'm like, ooh, it hurts me when you describe it. And they were like, what went wrong? He goes, well, I was trying to do this and then whatever. You can watch. Like, Chris Van Fleet's killing it in the Wrestling World interviews.
Yes, he is.
But slowly but surely, it's looking like Dom is becoming the leader of the Judgment Day, which is the right move to do, because Dom needs to stop being in the shadow. He's at that level now where you need to put Dom, give him the ball. Give Dom the ball. I can't believe I'm saying that in 2025 on Dominic Babyface Nepo Baby Mysterio that came into the wrestling world. And now we're getting this Dom. And I'm like, give Dom the ball. Aaron Turner right now is sitting there going like, I told you.
And where's the storyline going with him, Finn, and Judgment Day?
I don't know. Because with him and Finn, I feel like they're doing what they need to do, because you got Finn and Braun and all of that stuff. But I don't know. But it just feels like they're circling the wagons too much with Judgment Day. But then again, we sit there and say, where's this going? Where's this going? And then when it finally goes, we're all like, all right, we're good. I think it's a patient thing. And also, too, I don't think they really know exactly where they want to go yet.
Yeah. Because it's like he's been bringing up for weeks now. We need a new member. It's like, all right, come on, let's get to it. Who is it?
Same thing of who attacked Jade? Who attacked Jade? And it was like, all right, we knew it was Naomi. It's probably this. I don't know that. And then they kept stringing along.
It's better lead to something good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Jade paid off. It paid off. Right? You cashed that check exactly when you needed to. You sold the stock. You held on to the stock long enough, and you cashed it. Cashed it well. But I just don't see the Judgment Day having that same feeling. Yeah. I think they're circling their wagons too much.
Yeah, definitely.
Cody still had a great promo. Kind of alluded to it. His Smackdown just kind of mixed the two together.
But man, the main event cage match and everything that happened afterwards saved the show.
I've gone back and watched that match a couple of times, and I just like the fact that they hate each other so much They just wanted to pin each other. They didn't want to go out of the cage.
No, they didn't.
I love that
they didn't care about trying to win the match by going out of the cage or anything. They wanted to
destroy
kill
each other.
It was awesome.
Yeah, and I was like, that's a different
Although the kicking out of so many finishers started to get a little bit much. I was like, is this like a 2K game where you've saved up all your finishers and now you're having to burn them in order to kick out?
Which we'll get into not kicking out of finishers when we talk about Julie and Stephanie, because that's a totally opposite thing that they did. Still wasn't a bad match though. But yeah, that cage match was great. Roman, it was kind of like, the crowd didn't pop. I was surprised that the crowd did not get an uproar, because you had to have seen Roman running through the crowd.
They were. It's like just before. It's like when he had the door open, that's when I was like, okay, is it okay? He was leaning up against the ropes. The door's open. I was thinking, okay, is something about to happen? And then the crowd started to go nuts. I'm like, oh, there he is. And I love the camera shot where they kept it on Seth and he's looking at Punk just like, you mother effer. And I was like, it's like Roman just mugs him from behind and drags him out of the cage. I was like, yeah. Like, oh.
And then did you see Cody? He did my tribal chief a tweet. He did do that. So that's always a nice little bitty story beat there. But yeah, like I said, SmackDown and Raw had its great moments, but I was expecting a little bit more. It's just when someone's the road to WrestleMania, you're expecting a little bit more.
Yeah, because you felt it. You felt that Roman was like, it's like payback time, motherfucker. Yeah. And I got really excited when he saw he stopped, because after Ed and Pearce and them were trying to get his way to prevent him from trying to kill Seth, he looks in the ring and he sees Heyman checking on Punk and being all worried about him. And I was like, oh, there it is. Now he's going to be mad at now. That's how you get him mad at Punk too. It's like the jealousy of their relationship.
Gotcha. Yeah, like I said, I know some people
brilliant. Add on to and especially Heyman's like, what are you doing? It's like he was just checking on his friend.
Right.
It's like Roman's jealous.
Yeah, and shout out to Paul, who's been helping Braun Breaker.
Yes.
So that was. It's like, of course he's helping Braun Breaker, because they know when you get rumors that Paul is working with some like a guy like Braun Breaker or another guy, and behind the scenes, you're like, oh, wonder where they're putting their chips. Yeah. What are they put? It's a no-brainer.
Like Alexa Bliss got as good as she did because of Paul Heyman, and she's credited Heyman because Heyman, especially when she could not wrestle because of the back-to-back concussions.
Right.
And they started having her do the interview segment stuff, like Miz. Heyman really helped her with that and work on her mic skills, and that really helped her. So,
gotcha.
That's why it's like, if Heyman's helping you behind the scenes, that definitely means that they see something in you, and also Heyman sees something in you. It's like, I mean, that it makes sense because remember when they had Heyman go down to support Braun during 2.0? Mm-hmm. It was like, that was 2 years ago?
Something like that.
So yeah, I thought that was cool. Yeah. So main event saved the show. Really excited for seeing now where Roman, Seth, and Punk situation goes after what happened. So it's getting juicy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like both SmackDown and Raw, man. It's like NXT Roadblock blew both Raw and SmackDown out of the water.
That's no debate on that. It's no ifs, ands, or buts. But let's move on to a pay-per-view that was doing so well.
We're going to switch over to take your AEW for Revolution and Dynamite, and then we'll finish with NXT.
Yeah, but
so
this pay-per-view was so good, and then that happened.
And then that thing happened.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into it.
Yeah. All right, here's a recap of the AEW Revolution pay-per-view this past Sunday. We're going to skip the pre-show to keep this short. Show opened proper with Hangman and Page against MJF. Hangman picked up the victory. Then we had TBS Championship match. Mercedes went defending against Momo Watanabe. Mercedes retained the championship. Then we had Swerve Strickland against Ricochet, number one contenders match. Winner gets a shot at the AEW World Championship. Thanks to shenanigans from Nana, Swerve was able to pick up the victory and get the rope back for Prince Nana, and they're still together. Then we had Continental Championship match. Kazuchika Okada defending against Brody King of the Hounds of Hell. Okada picked up the victory. AEW World Tag Team Championship match. The Hurt Syndicate defending against the Outrunners. Hurt Syndicate picked up the victory in just under 10 minutes. And then we got a trio of insanely great matches. First up was AEW Women's World Championship match. Hollywood ending match. Timeless Toni Storm defending the championship against Mariah May. These two women beat the hell out of each other, tried to kill each other. Both bled buckets of blood. Timeless finally hit Storm Zero on a table to finish Mariah off on the top of the stage and pin her to retain the championship. She held on to Mariah's unconscious body as the end was shown on the Titantron. Then we had AEW International Championship match. Kenny Omega challenging Konosuke Takeshita of the Don Callis family. This was another banger with Kenny Omega picking up the victory to win his first AEW International Championship. They made a steel cage match to blow off the feud between Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. Both these guys bled like hell too. Mark Davis on Don Callis got involved, brought weapons in the ring, including a barbed wire baseball bat. After a insane Spanish fly off the top of the cage, Ospreay put Kyle Fletcher out of his misery with a hidden blade and a Tiger Driver 91 to pin him and win the match and the feud. And then we had our main event, AEW Championship match, Jon Moxley defending against Adam Copeland, a.k.a. Cope. Wheeler Yuta came out to interfere on behalf of Moxley, showing he was still aligned with him. Jay White came out to try to help, accidentally hit Cope with the briefcase containing the title belt. Him and Yuta fought to the back. Just what it looked like Copeland might win the title. Christian Cage interrupted the count and signed his contract and turned the title, calling in his title shot, and turned it into a triple threat. He speared Copeland, tried to pin him, and he kicked out. After hitting a kill switch, Moxley recovered and attacked Christian, put him in a bulldog choke, and choked him out to win the match and retain the championship. Before he left, though, Swerve dove off out of the stands with the fans to attack Moxley and lay him out, and stood tall as the show went off the air. So that's all that happened at AEW's Revolution 2025 pay-per-view. Oh, boy.
Okay, so do you want to rip the Band-Aid off and talk about that bullshit, or you want to talk about the 95% of the other show? That was good.
I'll leave it up to you. Do you want to talk about all the good on the show before we talk about the shit show that was the main event?
Let's rip the Band-Aid off. Let's just get. Okay. I like to just get the bad news and the bullshit out of the way, and then because. Yes, going into it, we all knew the main event was the weakest on the card. We also said, do not overbook it because we're like Jay White, Christian Cage, blah, blah, blah. They could have done 17 million different variations of what they did, and that would still be the worst one.
Yep. Yeah. The two big problems was, number one, the three matches before this were banger after banger after banger.
Match of the year candidate bangers.
You had the Hollywood ending match. You had Omega Takeshita, and then the steel cage match between Ospreay and Fletcher. All three of those matches were fucking bangers. Two of those matches were bloodfests. On top of that, thankfully, you had Omega Takeshita as the technical, 5-star level kind of match in between the two, right. To kind of offset that. But you had those three banger matches in a row. They're supposed to follow that cage match, which was insane, And on top of that, the pay-per-view was already really long at this point, and the crowd was completely burnt out, and you could tell because they were dead during this main event. They were dead. It's like they only popped for like a certain things happened. Like they came kind of alive when Christian did the cash in, but it's like it's like the match wasn't very exciting. And then you get the stupid booking. It's like I knew the overbooking was going to happen. I was like, oh, there's a ref up. I was like, okay, all right, here come the shenanigans. Let's get this over with. But then the cash in happened, and I thought, oh, cool, Christian can win the title, just like I was hoping he would. No. Someone, I don't know if someone didn't want to do a job or someone gave TK this brilliant idea and he thought it was a brilliant idea, and in execution, it was complete shit. But he cashes in, makes a triple. You'd think Christian would be smart enough to wait until after the match was over to cash in on the person who was weakened. Makes him look like a dumbass when he's never been portrayed as a dumbass with his heel persona. Then Moxley takes advantage and chokes his ass out. So he beats a guy who wasn't originally in the match in order to retain the title. And Copeland is protected. The whole thing was a shit show. The only way they could have mitigated, I mean, the smarter thing would have to put one of the other matches after the cage match, in between the cage match and the main event, to give the fans a bit of a breather, because there was no way it's like they were fucked from the get-go, having to follow those 3 banger matches, especially the cage match, which was insane. So that did them no favors. So the crowd was completely spent after all, like, that stuff that happened before. And, the storyline is not catching the world on fire for the fan base either. So they were already fucked from the get-go. And then you go and do that stupid, dumbass finish. It's like, and then they try to salvage it by having Swerve attack Moxley and stand tall to close out the pay-per-view. It's like, I literally was like, really? They're going to end the pay-per-view like this? Are you fucking kidding me? If it wasn't for those 3 banger matches, some other great matches on the show, it's like, this would have really hurt the show. It didn't ruin the pay-per-view. This is still a very good pay-per-view, but with it's going to be remembered as a very good AEW pay-per-view that could have been great if the main event wasn't a shit show.
This reminded me of the WrestleMania with Rock Hogan, because that whole show was great.
Jericho Triple H had to follow Rock Hogan.
Yeah.
That did them no favors.
No. And some people would talk about like
match placement sometimes is really important.
Because because that whole card during that WrestleMania was still like, the crowd was, it's WrestleMania, so the crowd's going to be electric. And then Hogan and Rock blew the roof off. The bill for Triple H, if you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, go back and watch all the interviews with Triple H and Chris Jericho. They're like, we don't need to go on last. Like, they knew what they were walking into. It's like, the bill's not working. No one, this is, it's kind of like the Jay Gunther feud kind of right now. It's like, we're still excited to see it.
Everyone was invested in Rock Hogan. That was a dream match. And it's like any other match that was going to follow that was going to be dealt no favors.
Yeah. And they delivered.
Yes. Rock Hogan delivered.
We still talk about it to this day of just how, and they hardly did anything, but that's the point. That's the beauty of wrestling.
They had the crowd in the palm of their hand.
And the palm of my hand. And then the end of the day was like, all right, well, we know Triple H is going to beat Chris Jericho, so why do we care? It's kind of the same thing. It's like,
and they already got this rematch set for next week with a street fight. So it's like, I hope so, Jeff, because it's like they really they really fucked things up.
Yeah. Now, on to the good stuff.
With that storyline. Now,
on to the good stuff.
Let's get to the good stuff.
Here's what I will say about the overall show, and just
I would say yes.
Yes.
I would say yes. It's definitely a match of the year candidate.
Yes, and going on with that, for anyone out there that says AEW can't make stars, take away that main event. How good has Toni Storm been since she got to AEW?
Yeah,
It's the best she's ever been. Arguably the greatest women's wrestler right now. Why is that? Because she went to AEW and they let her do her thing. You know what Toni Storm was? A slow pie in the face by Charlotte Flair. It was the most embarrassing thing for a great wrestler I've ever seen.
I felt
she left there, and it took a while to find her footing. When that Tomlin stuff happened, she's been great. Mariah May, who the fuck knew who she was? And she's been amazing.
Yeah.
Swerve Strickland, he was great in NXT, but wasn't this level. Ricochet's heel stuff has been the best he's ever done. I'm invested in what Ricochet is doing.
I'm
not
liking,
just in the
I'm
ring.
liking this shitty heel Ricochet. It's it's actually winning me over.
So don't tell me AEW can't create Takeshita's been great.
Yeah.
Will Ospreay was already a star.
Kyle Fletcher has been completely elevated by this feud with Ospreay.
Yes, Kyle Fletcher is at another level. Will Ospreay was already there, but Will Ospreay goes out there and lays it on the line every single time and makes everyone look great. MJF was already a star. Hangman Page was already a star.
Yeah.
But they are a well-known commodity now because of AEW. Yes. So for anyone out there that wants the death of AEW, you don't like wrestling. Mm-hmm. That's kind of my little stance on that.
Just go the F away. Just go the F away, please.
Yes, we talk crap, and we'll get into AEW Dynamite because that's not how you follow.
I call like I see it. It's like, it's like, I know it's like the stands out there love to give people like GD from New York and others who are have been very critical of AEW, but a lot of their criticism is stuff I agree with. They're pointing out the issues that the shows are having. There is issues going on. It's like, It's not perfect. And we've called out WWE. It's like, we're not WWE shills. It's like, we just talked about how Raw was cut and SmackDown were very meh. It's like Raw was saved by the awesome main event. WWE's not perfect either. It's like, so it's like, we call it like we see it. If something we don't think it was good or didn't work for us, we're going to say so. It's like, we're not going to sugarcoat you.
And I had a thought. I knew the Fletcher Ospreay match was going to kill, and it did.
Yeah.
I had a thought of how that Mariah May Toni Storm match was going to go, and then they just blew the doors off.
They were legit trying to destroy each other. And
I mean, when they started taping, I was like, are they really doing this?
I'm like, oh my, are they actually going to do like fucking Taipei deathmatch shit?
Yeah, they did. I was like, hey, Tony, you can't book women's wrestling. Hold my glass fist.
Although it was funny, I said in the Discord, I was like, or I don't know if I said in Discord, but I said to some of my friends, I was like, it's like Ospreay and Fletcher decided to tell the Hollywood ending match, hold my beer, because it's like that match. Oh, as crazy as the Hollywood ending match. It's like they were like, we're gonna sorry ladies, we're gonna top you.
And I guess like I alluded to earlier in the show, Ospreay with his bang bang.
Those two bled buckets. They did insane spots. The Spanish Fly slam off the top of the cage was insane. And then he he put the nail in the coffin. It's like he hidden blade and a fucking tiger driver and be like, F you. It's like, I loved Fletcher screaming, I hate you.
Yeah. And another, I know he's been.
That's how you end feuds. Like,
that's how you end feuds.
Like the Hollywood ending match and the cage match. That's how you blow off feuds.
Yeah. And then Shelton has looked the best I've seen him in 20 years since he's gotten to AEW.
A lot of the other matches were fine. Like Mercedes and the Momo match was actually really good.
Momo scared me for a second. I thought she legit hurt herself.
She did hurt herself, apparently.
Okay.
She was on crutches. Apparently, she tweaked something.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's knee or her ankle, but she.
I don't think they gave Brody and Okada enough time.
They did not. They did not give those two enough time, and it's unfortunate. That's the problem. It's like this is some of the problems sometimes with AEW is like Tony tries to squeeze too many matches onto the main card, and then you had the pre-show had already like 4 or 5 matches. I mean, I think TK realized that it's like we gotta cut. It's like they turned Jericho versus Gravity into an angle instead of a match during the pre-show. But like as much as I like the Brody Okada, that could have been left off the card. So could the tag match because that was basically like a 10.
Yeah, it was kind of a squash. But the Mercedes
those out
was good.
And because sometimes you need to let the crowd give a breath. It's like I know some. It's like at least WWE tries to give a little bit of breather. Maybe sometimes a little too long, as we've been critical. It's like but that's where the match placement. Like if they had shuffled some of the order around, the main event wouldn't have been as badly received as it did. I mean, the booking
Right.
still was not great, but you wouldn't have had a very dead crowd during it, probably as much, maybe.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, like I said, that Swerve Ricochet match was great.
oh, Hangman MGF was a great opener.
Great. Although, I thought he crippled MJF there for a second with that Tiger Driver. Oh my God, that scared me. But they got it right. Who's going to dethrone Mercedes at this point?
That's what I'm trying to figure out, because that's the other thing, that they need to come up with like a story. They can't keep just throwing people at her to beat.
You had it with Harley. You had it with Harley, and you were like, nah.
I don't think she was back to being hologram for a hologram on Collision, dude. It's like
no, that pissed me off. So
it helped her. She's still very over, but that wasn't the right time to have her drop the title, as much as I know some people wanted it to.
I did personally. I wanted Harley to get that because, again, I want AEW to create new stars. It would not have hurt Mercedes. It would have just elevated Harley.
Honestly,
I don't think maybe they think Harley's too green still.
She needs more. She's only been wrestling for like a few years. She's relatively new, so it's like, honestly, if I had to pick, because they've already gone through a lot of the roster,
right?
If I had to pick someone to finally dethrone Mercedes, it would be Jamie Hayter.
Okay.
Because unless they're going to turn her heel, her and Tony would be weird because they're both baby faces. Unless they turn Hayter heel again, but I think that would be the right move, because that would finally put Jamie back up on the top where she belongs. Now I was been wondering like where she's been. Apparently she had to go back to England and get her visa renewed. And that takes time. So she will be back soon once she gets her visa.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Thanks for bringing that up. I forgot about that.
Yeah, because like it's like people wondering like where is she? And Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful had a story, but she kind of like got it. It's like to save you guys from signing up to Frightful. It's like I'm back home having to get my visa renewed. I'll be back soon.
Yeah. Well, speaking about how they had Harley Cameron with I keep forgetting that dude's name. Hologram. Let's move on to Dynamite.
Oh wait.
Yeah.
Overall, this was still a very good pay-per-view. It's just that I think more people, unfortunately, maybe are going to talk about what the shit show main event was, and it's like, which is disservice to a lot of the banger matches on the show. Swerve going over was the right move. Omega winning was the right move. He needed to get that win back from Takeshita. Doesn't hurt him, and plus he didn't beat the Lonely Angel either, which also kind of protects.
And plus, you're gonna get Omega and Okada.
So it's just gonna be interesting where now that Tony is done with Mariah, we'll see where she goes. We got a kind of glimpse of that. We definitely know where Ospreay's going. It's like it was Dynamite, so we'll get to that in a second. But overall, I did enjoy the show. It was just like, ugh, I had a bad taste in my mouth with that finish. It's just like, I would have given the pay-per-view like an 8 out of 10, but like that ending took knocked it down to like a 7. Still good. It's still a very good show, but
yeah, I mean
that main event hurt her.
You had 2 match of the year candidates.
Yeah.
In the pay-per-view, and you ended it with that. I would sit there, I would basically give it of why I don't drink Diet Coke. Man, because that first and the middle part are great, but that aftertaste is can't do it. And that's kind of how I felt about this show was, man, that aftertaste did not leave me satisfied.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's move on to Dynamite. And your boy JD had some really good points about this show.
Yeah, he did. He did. All right, here's a recap what happened on this week's episode of AEW Dynamite. The show opened with Kenny Omega cutting a promo about his victory, winning the International title. At the pay-per-view, it was announced that there would be a number 1 contenders tournament to see who will face him for the title at Dynasty. Ricochet cut a promo saying that he's in the tournament and he plans on winning it. Our first match was the Ops versus some jobbers, and they squashed them. They ran down the brackets of the tournament. 2 matches tonight, 2 on Collision. Strickland and Copeland had a pre-tape promo after the pay-per-view that was shown. And then Moxley had one of his own. Then we had Powerhouse Hobbs and Hologram taking on Brian Cage and Dralistico. Bayfaces picked up the victory. Timeless Tony Storm came out to cut a promo about her victory over Mariah Way in the Hollywood ending match, saying that now she's ready to move on and see who will step up to challenger for the title. Well, someone answered in the form of Megan Bain, who attacked Timeless Tony from behind after she was done cutting her promo. Then we had the first match in the international title number 1 contenders tournament. The Beast Mortos took on the debuting Speedball Mike Bailey. Speedball picked up the victory. Christian Cage, the Patriarchy, cut a promo in the back. Christian making excuses about losing the match and cashing in. Nick Wayne called him out on his BS, and the two had words hinting at dissension in the ranks of the Patriarchy. MJF came out to cut a promo bitching about losing to Hangman, saying that he just got lucky and that this isn't over between them. MVP came out to and revealed that he and MJF go way back, that they're friends. He offered to help MJF, who he thinks has lost his edge. No one fears him anymore. MJF said respectfully that he doesn't need any help. MVP said otherwise, gave him the Hertz Syndicate business card. MJF put it in his pocket and seemed to be pondering the offer. Max Caster had another open challenge. It was answered this time by Konosuke Kakeshka, proceeded to squash the poor man and kick his ass. Chris Jericho cut a promo about what he did to Gravity, Bandito's brother, at the pay-per-view on the pre-show. He said things between him and Bandito need to end and challenged him to another ROH style match at Supercard of Honor. Then we had Will Nightingale taking on Penelope Ford in a one-on-one match. Willow picked up the victory. After the match, Ford used a steel toe to check Willow. Chris Statler came down to make the save. That allowed Megan Bain to appear and attack both ladies. And she hit the F5 on Statlander. Renee interviewed both Mercedes Moné and Billy Starks, which led to Billy challenging her to a match next week. Then we had Tony Schiavone entering Will Ospreay in the ring, kind of promo about beating Fletcher at the pay-per-view, and then said now that he's taken care of that, he's going to focus on going after the AEW Championship. He announced he was going into the Owen Hart tournament to earn a title shot at All In Texas, and vowed to defeat whoever was the champion. Jay White was interviewed, denying that he hit Copeland on purpose with the briefcase at the pay-per-view, and said that he'll have his back, but also that he plans on becoming the number 1 contender to the World Heavyweight Championship. Then we had Hangman was attempted to be interviewed in back Renee. He ran to MJF, and the two had words dissing each other again, making clear that this feud is definitely not over. And then we got to our main event, the next round in the international title number 1 contenders tournament. Orange Cassidy taking on HSRO from CMML. Orange Cassidy picked up the victory. His opponent in the next round, Speedball Mike Bailey, came out to announce Orange Cassidy. And the two stared each other down, closed out the show. So that's all that happened on this week's episode of AEW Dynamite.
Floor is yours, sir.
I'm going to take a moment because I was thinking about it. I wanted to start off how I feel about this episode of Dynamite. I want to borrow a scene in a quote from one of my favorite movies. Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon, martial arts legend. In the opening of the movie, he's working with one of a student on his skill, he tells the student to, deliver a kick to him. Wants to see, how he delivers a kick. So he kicks him, and after he's done, after he blocks the move, he walks up to him and just goes, "What was that? An exhibition?" Basically saying, like, you think that was your best? This is what I felt. I'm like what? I was like, what am I watching? This is supposed to be your post pay-per-view Dynamite, and this is the show we're getting.
Yeah,
because there was a lot of blah on this show. It was a mess.
You would think of like we're carrying Tony, Megan Bain. Okay, that's okay. I was good with that.
Ospreay's promo, fine.
Fine.
Making it clear that he's
Kenny stuff.
Afterward.
Kenny stuff, good.
Yeah,
right?
MGF stuff and with MVP, fine.
Yeah, but hey,
Speedball Mike Bailey, the Speedball Mike Bailey and Beast Mortos match was definitely the match of the night for sure. But
also guys, let's get you want holograms and Hobbs? No, I want the aftermath of the book. That's what I just watched.
And that match was like, talk about a Styles clash. It didn't work. It is like, and then the main event is Orange Cassidy against a guy from CML that I can't even properly pronounce his name. It's like, that's supposed to be your main event.
But MJF stuff, him and Hangman carrying on. Solid.
I'm glad that feud's not over. I don't want it to be over.
No.
So I'm glad that that's still going.
No one gives a shit about Max Caster. I'm sorry. We just don't.
Don't give a fuck. Don't know where that's going. It feels like just wasting our time. I feel bad for Max Caster. As soon as the Caster, I'm like, oh, he is so fucked. It's like, he got murderized in that ring. It's like Takeshi's gonna be Takeshi's in a bad mood after losing to Kenny, so he's gonna take it out on you, buddy. Kenny's opening promo was fine. It's like, felt like there was too much talking and not enough ring action.
No.
And the main event was a choice. It was like, really?
All right. You think the main event would have some type of carry on about what happened in the title
match? And then it's like they announced that we're gonna have a rematch of the pay-per-view main event next week in Street Fight.
This was the Princess is Another Castle episode.
Right.
It's what it felt like.
Oh my god.
It's like, all right, we're getting what we're. Oh, not here? Okay. You're going to give me just a random indie card stuff with a bunch of talking and not much wrestling? Okay, I'll move on. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Not to say that the show was terrible. It was just extremely underwhelming.
Yeah.
For what we were expecting.
Especially when you're coming off of that pay-per-view.
Yes.
It's like some very questionable choices on this show.
Because the thing is I'm glad that we're moving from Mariah May to Megan Bain. Cool with that.
My problem with Megan Bain is that she's looked great in the ring, but we don't know anything about her. She has
nothing about her. Nothing about her. We know more about we know.
The only thing we know is that she's got some kind of weird alliance with Millennium Ford, and that they've been giving Chris Statlander and Will Nightingale a headache. That's it. She looks great in the ring. I've heard a lot of good things about her, and she looks great in the ring, but we don't know anything about her character or her personality right now, and that's not a good thing. Nope. And why would you throw? Hopefully, that's just a tease and not the immediate feud, because you need to build her up if you're going to throw her against Tony. Because Megan Bain is the kind of person that you would want to have Tony put over, and not just be a filler. And then like, okay, she loses Tony, then what do you do with her?
Right. And then, hey, by the way, here's Willow versus Penelope Ford. Cool. It was a good match.
Yeah.
Don't care. With it. So that was the problem that I had with the show. It was the Princess is Another Castle because I was expecting filet mignon, and I got a 6-ounce sirloin from Outback. So I was still satisfied. A steak is a steak, even if it's from Outback. But I was expecting. So any other analogies I can come up with?
No, I think that one was really good.
Yeah. So I I was just very underwhelmed. Very underwhelmed. I don't want to spend too much time on it because I'd rather talk most of our time about Roadblock because it was the best show of not a pay-per-view, by the way, but of the weekly shows.
This was the best of the weekly shows, period.
By far. Even Sean Ross Sapp was like, that's the best NXT show I've seen that I can remember.
Yeah, it's like they gave us a PLE level show for a week.
Yeah, and Sean Ross Sapp is supposedly an AEW shill. I'm like, what? The dude just loves wrestling. I know he gets a lot of hate, and sometimes stuff, like people go back at JD for calling him a WWE show, but he'll still call a spade.
Yeah,
like he'll kind of talk crap about it, like do like
little backhand comments. About Raw that we did, that it wasn't a very uneventful show, and it was saved by an awesome main event and main event angle.
Yeah, it was like the reverse of Revolution. It was like a mass show and great ending, great show, terrible ending. It was like the reverse. The Raw was the reverse Revolution. So that's kind of how it put it.
But Mike Bailey got to look good. He came up to a decent.
Yeah, that's the first time I've really sat there and watched Mike Bailey. I'm like, oh, okay, there's something there. I'm not fully bought in, but there's something there. Let's just see how his full character work can do.
I got to see his match against Takeshita for the international title on the Maple Leaf Pro pay-per-view a few months back. It was a banger.
Okay. What kind of style is it, would you say?
He's like martial arts with some high fly moves in his arsenal. He can really go. He's really good. Gotcha. The Beast Mortos was like the perfect opponent to put him against. Honestly. Yeah. So we got this tournament to decide who's going to face Kenny.
I like the tournament setup so far.
AEW
does tournaments really well. I will say that.
Although my money's on Ricochet winning this because he's the only heel that is in this tournament that makes sense that would be a good opponent for Kenny. Because him and Kenny can have a banger.
Yeah, we've never seen Kenny and Ricochet that I can remember. I don't think he did any NJ New Japan stuff. There might have been some indie stuff here and there, but there's never been like a highlighted, here's Kenny and Ricochet match that I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hey, tell me in the chat if they probably squared off before, but it's been a while since we have that. So.
Also, before we move on to NXT, I gotta say I feel really bad for Daniel Garcia and everyone at Adam Cole Company because they've been regulated at Collision in like same with FTR. It's like they're just like they're doing the best they can with not much.
FTR, Adam Cole, what have you done to my boy?
Adam Cole is like one of the greatest like what ifs right now with his AEW run because his entire AEW run has been a huge disappointment and it's not all his fault. I mean, he's had two major injuries that have derailed his momentum.
Yeah, his best stuff was the MJF stuff.
The MJ stuff was awesome
until his ankle,
and then he gets injured again when it's hot,
and
so then he's out for like another year. So it's like he was starting. They were finally starting to give him stuff. Then he got that concussion at Forbidden Door that one year, and that put him out on the shelf for like several months. And that concussion was really bad. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they didn't even know if he was going to be able to wrestle again. It was like a Daniel Bryan type thing.
Yeah, it's like it was bad. And then the ankle it just took like it's like that put him out for over a year. So it was like injuries and. Between the injuries and the booking, his like AEW run has been a gigantic disappointment. And honestly, I'm looking for. I'm sorry, Tony. I really hope he does not stay and just goes back to WWE because Triple H
loves
like, welcome home, son.
Welcome back.
Because if he goes back to WWE, he's going right to the moon.
Because man, Adam,
because Triple H and HBK love that man.
Adam is one of the best all around.
He still texts. He's admitted he texts and stays in touch with Triple H and HBK.
Oh no, Sean's like his mentor.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's one guy of the new age wrestlers that I'm just like, he has everything.
Yeah,
it's Adam Cole. And people can talk shit about his physique. I don't care. He can go on the mic with anyone. He can go in the
Actually,
ring.
He looks the best he's had in a while. It looks like he's put on some muscle lately. It's like he looks really good. But yeah, it's like he's like he's down in the mid card. It's not where he should be.
No,
he should be in the main event.
Adam freaking Cole. It's just
it's like all the people that are currently in AEW that want to go to WWE. He's numero uno right now. I want him to go back home.
Yeah. Because a lot of times people are like, why do you like Adam Cole? It's like, because it's Adam Cole. That's exactly I don't know what else to tell you. It's Adam freaking Cole, man. He's awesome.
It's like he will get Triple H will shoot him right to the fucking top when he comes back. And I'm sure he knows that. I'm sure
he was the reason I started.
I'm sure in the back of his mind, it's like he's gonna have a very difficult decision because I'm sure TK is gonna throw a lot of money at him, but it's not always about the money. It's about how. It's like, does he think TK is going to treat him well for another several years, or does he trust to go back to WWE? And now that Vince is gone and Triple H is in charge, that he's going to give a better chance.
I don't think Triple H is going to have him as a manager. I'll put it that way. But yeah, Adam Cole was the reason I started watching Ring of Honor before its demise.
And look what they've done, how they've treated people were in AEW and moved over. I mean, it's like, look where Cody is. Whatever you feel about Jade Rings or not, how they've booked her has been very well done, especially now with this current storyline.
Shawn Spears.
Look how they treated Ricky Saints. Ricky Starks when he came in, they treated him like a big fucking deal.
Penta.
It's like they gave him the fucking rock star treatment. It's like and like Ray Phoenix is
going to be the same way.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason people are like, why do they keep having Penta do these like random feuds with Ludwig and Pete? I'm like, for one thing, don't just say random feuds because Ludwig and Pete are great.
No,
but they're waiting for Ray. That's all they're doing.
Yeah. Because they didn't know how long he was going to be still under contract until it's like thankfully TK finally wised up and just let him loose, just like he did to Ricky and the other people that he wasn't using, and who obviously he felt that he wasn't interested in saying, and some of them very vocal about not wanting to say. So, but sorry to go off of that tangent. Just like it hurts my soul because I love Adam Cole so much.
No, this is a very pro Adam Cole show, ladies and gentlemen. And so, yes, that's the one thing that's been, I'm just like, I miss Adam. I know he's on the show, but I miss Adam.
He was in the main event of the first All In Wembley. Yeah. And now he's down the mid card going after the TNT championship.
Yeah. Just doesn't make sense. All right. Well, let's go end on a positive. NXT effing Roadblock. Hey guys, guess what? Moose. If you didn't know his name, you damn sure know him now.
All right, here's a recap. What happened at the this week's episode of the NXT Roadblock, a special event from the theater at Madison Square Garden. We opened with the TNA Tag Team titles on the line as the Hardy Boys defend against Fraxium. The Hardy Boys picked up the victory to retain the titles with the Swanton. After the match, Mickie James and Sean giving Jada Parker a pep talk for her going for a title shot again in the near future. The family had a meeting. Stacks apologized for what happened last week, costing Tony the North American title. James says that it's not his fault. And Stacks says he's going to start making things right by them taking on Spears Crew in a 6-person tag next week. Then we had Roxanne Perez taking on Jordan Grace. Great stuff from these two ladies, as you expect. Jordan Grace picked up the victory with the Juggernaut driver. Obafemi ran into the Undertaker back. Undertaker said he's impressed by Obafemi. Told him to go out and defend his yard. They showed Trick in New York City training for his underground match against Eddie Thorpe next week. Then we had the NXT Championship match. Obafemi defending against Moose, the X Division champion from TNA. This was a great house fight between these two. Eventually, Obafemi hit the Fall from Grace powerbomb to pick up the victory to retain the championship. Fatal Influence was still bitching to Ava about Fallon not getting a rematch for the Women's North American Championship. Ricky Starks interrupted, complaining about what Rich Holland said to him last week. And so she made Ricky versus Ridge for next week. They made a street fight. Ethan Page taking on Javon Evans. Javon finally got a victory over Page, putting a chair over Page's head and hitting a springboard cutter while he had the chair wrapped around his head to beat him and pick up the victory. But after the match, lights went out and the mystery faction came down. All four men beat down Javon and did the shield-like powerbomb on him. We got pre-tape promo for Sean Spears. He revealed that his faction is called the Culling and that they're going to take care of the D'Angelo family next week. Eddie Thorpe was interviewed in the crowd, promising to take out Trick next week. Trick came out of nowhere to attack him, with the fans getting all excited as they brawled through the arena. And then we got to the main event. Champion versus champion, title for title match. NXT Women's Champion Julia challenging North American Women's Champion Stephanie Van Kerr. Winner will have both championships. These two ladies put on quite a match in the short amount of time they had, which was great. In the end, Stephanie had to hit her SVB finisher not once but twice after Julia had kicked out of it one attempt earlier. So after hitting her finisher twice, Stephanie was able to put her down to pin her. And Stephanie Van Kerr is now the new NXT Women's Champion as well and is a double champion. And confetti rained down to celebrate her victory, close out the show. So that's all that happened on this week's episode of NXT Roadblock from New York. Thank you, HBK. Thank you very much.
That being said, don't pin your champions. No, I think they were both champions. I don't know how to do that. Hey, Fraxium. Hey, the Russians cut. Fraxium bleeds. But that was the way I would have done it.
Yes, because the TNA titles are online, and it's like they want to. That would have made no sense for them to win the titles.
Yeah. Also, Jordan Grace going over on Roxanne. Terrible show. No, it was the right dude. When she had her and then had like the little fish hook going on, I was like, all right, these girls are just going at it.
No. Roxanne and Jordan, they were going all out in that match, man.
I just like that showcased that Roxanne can work all styles.
Yes,
because this was a gritty, dirty match.
Yeah,
some
her and Jordan have really good chemistry, man.
Yes. This is exactly what I needed Roxanne to do.
I look forward to them feuding on the main roster in the near future.
Yeah, because these are two money makers.
Because they're both going to be there very soon.
Yeah. And if you casual fans out there don't fall in love with Roxanne, I don't know what to tell you. I don't think you like wrestling. I think you should question whether or not you should watch anymore.
On this show, you had Jordan and Roxanne. And then the main event, you had Stephanie and Julia. Those four women are the future. Those four women are going to take the main roster to another level once they're all called up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you had any doubts, it's like just watch these two matches that those four ladies had on this show. They are the future. They are going to kill it. It's like, it's like Jordan and Stephanie are very over. Julia is also quite over. And Roxanne has shown that she can both do heel and babyface quite well. So it's like the future is very bright. And even when those four ladies have left NXT, you still got a lot of talent left there that are going to get a chance to shine. It's like they're definitely positioning Jada Parker to step up to the next level.
Yep.
Right now.
Yep. They have really, really put Jada in that spot. And we kept saying Jada's kind of like that next one. Just how they're presenting her and how her character work has been, how her in-ring work has been. That's the one thing is like,
I mean, you don't waste Mickey James of all people saying it's like you go kick ass. It's like it's like that was Mickey James giving her Jada Parker a rub, man. It's like it's
also too. Everybody was throughout the show because they're trying to also promote LFG.
Right.
It's like Undertaker's here, Bubba Ray's here, Mickey James is here.
The whole Bubba's like, who knows the Hardys better than me?
Right.
Like, let me help you. It's like, let me help you guys out. I did like that. I thought it's like I did like that. And but yeah, the opening match, that's a nice tease, and the rematch is going to be given more time and is going to be mind blowing because then the rematch it's going to be for the NXT titles, and Fraxium is going to get one of the biggest rubs you could ever ask for by beating the fucking Hardy Boys.
Mm-hmm. Let's just go match by match at this point. We already talked about the heart. Anything we want to talk about the heart? We already talked about Roxanne and Jordan.
Yeah, Roxanne and Jordan, they killed it. Alba Femi versus Muth was exactly what I was hoping for. It was a Haas fight, and it was awesome.
And I like the Undertaker giving a little pep talk to Oba.
Yeah, that was nice. Cool. Undertaker giving a little rub to Oba Femi.
Because hey, remember he gave that rub to John Cena 20-something years ago, and it just kind of had that same feel.
This was a competitive match. This was not like it's like Moose got to look great, even though he lost this match. It's like Moose gave him a fight.
Yeah, and CM, did you see the picture of him and CM Punk backstage?
Yeah. And Moose is really loving getting a chance to work with WWE people, getting to meet people that he's like admired, and it's like he also got to talk to Undertaker, took a picture with him. Street fight between Javon and Ethan was exactly what it should have been, and Javon getting a big win. That finished with him putting the chair around his head and then doing the cutter. That was a great spot.
Speaking about another AEW star that WWE has really...
Yeah, Ethan Page, man. This has been killing it.
He's money. Ethan Page is money. I don't know what else. Like when he was a star, remember he showed up shockingly and was like, I did whatever I did. I forget what. Ova Mensa. Yeah, he was the one that whatever. But I remember watching all of his his vlogs and stuff. I was like, he's good in the ring, deep, good, solid looking dude. I think he has good mic skills. But it just felt like they didn't know Tony didn't know how to book him. And then he got to NXT. I was like, all right, this is let's see if he's got it or not. And man, I think he's got it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's got main roster in him, but he's going to kill it on the mid card.
Yeah, he's going to fit in. He's exactly what they need in the mid card right now.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, that Javon, man, if Javon,
I think that's the best Javon's look.
That's the best. Okay, someone pointed this out. The knee pads over the jeans, just different. I don't know why people were complaining about that, but I saw people complaining like, "Why do you put the knee pads over the jeans?" I'm like, "Shut the hell up!"
All the things to harp on about that. It's like, come on.
Yeah, if you're harping on the knee pads over the jeans, it's called reaching, and you didn't grab anything. The match was great, and the whole like Ethan stopping for the chair in the post, and then Javon just like hitting him into it.
That was great.
Yeah.
Liked how they set up, kept the Trick Eddie feud for their underground match next week. That was great. I have to say that crowd there at the theater at MSG, that crowd was dope.
Mm-hmm.
They were hot. And then we got the main event.
I'm gonna let you take this because this is your.
It's good and also sad. It's sad that Julius Tyler Reign has been cut short. Now, a lot of people, of course, not understanding it who don't read the dirt sheets, but it's like so that her losing the title this quickly definitely confirms the reports that she's got some kind of injury that she needs to take some time off to heal up. I don't know what it is because she looked great out there with Stephanie. So it's like, I don't know what this injury is. Also, apparently Alvarez said that besides the injury, so there's a thing, something up with her visa that also has to be dealt with. So it's like, is so I don't know if that's 100% either. It's like, got to take stuff with the observer grade salt, but this wasn't from Dave. This was, it's like Alvarez. So I give Alvarez a little bit more credit than Dave these days. But but at the same time, it's like, I love both these ladies. I think both these ladies, like I said, they're the future. They're amazing. I think they're awesome. This was a big deal for both of them because, it's like they're getting the main event at Madison Square Garden, and
they've been there less than a year.
Yeah, both of these, they are very close. It's like they call each other best friends. They're very tight, and so I want to share like what they said on social media here. Let me I'm gonna bring it up on the screen here. I mean, so this is what Julia said. Is like, it's like
I literally had that about to read too. It was Julia's tweet.
Yeah, it's like I lost. It's frustrating, but cheers to win. Congrats, my friend. I'm not done yet. I'm still burning with determination. Making clear, like, yeah, I lost. It sucks, but this is my friend. She beat me fair and square. It's like I'm just getting started. And then I absolutely fucking loved Stephanie's response. She's like, I love you. I admire you. It'll be an honor to face you again in the ring once and 1,000 times more. So, like, how can you not love these two? It's like the kind of, like just the praise that they have for each other and their friendship. It's and then the thing that really got me, like, it started to get me emotional was this that Sean put out of
Yeah, they killed it. I mean, because like they got this opportunity this quickly. And I know Julia's emotional because she's hurt, and they were expecting this a little bit further down the line, but they were able to, because they put them in that position because they're kind of
forced emotional because this is a big deal. This is like they got the main event. They're friends, and she's emotional because it sucks that she has to drop the title now, but she's also happy for her friend. It's like, I'm sure that Julia was like, it sucks to have to drop the title so quickly, due to injury, whatever. But it's her friend. It's like she couldn't ask for a better person to give the title to than her best friend, who she greatly loves and admires, and helped put Stephanie over. And so, it's then on the other side, you saw like, it's like they're both fighting back tears. It's like, how can you not love this? God, fucking love what Shawn Michaels doing. He was like the proud papa. It's like, come here. Like him hugging them both, seeing, how emotional they were, like everything, and thanking them for putting on a great main event. I mean, he's just killing it down there running NXT right now. It's like, seeing that stuff just warms my heart. And Stephanie's all emotional because she's the first woman in WWE since Becky Lynch to be a double belt holder, 2 singles titles at the same time. Yeah. It's like,
and I mean,
it's history making, and so she's emotional that she's she's only been in WWE a couple months, and she's got 2 singles title belts on her shoulders right now.
Yeah.
But also she's, emotional, not only that, but also because, obviously she feels bad for her friend Julia that she's got to drop the title, but, so it's a bittersweet. So I love the exchange between the two of them. And this, like I said, is like this greatly sets up a rematch when Julia comes back. How long? I really hope it's not going to be too long. I hope it's only going to be like a few months. Hopefully, it's not going to be too long.
I haven't seen any reports about it. So
it's like not even. It's like nobody knows what exactly the injury is. It's listed internally as undisclosed. So, like, they're kind of like keeping it on the down low exactly what it is, which is unusual. But the way she was wrestling, I don't think. Hopefully, it's definitely something that she obviously needs time off to heal, but not something where like she needs surgery. She's going to be out for like multiple months or something. Because she was out there going wild. So I was like, you could have fooled me. It's just like
I didn't notice any.
I didn't notice anything. I wonder if it's like her wrist, maybe because like she injured that last year while she was working Marigold before she came over to NXT. So maybe it's not like it's kind of like it's bothering her a little bit maybe, and she kind of just needs to take a little bit of time off, let it like get back to 100% maybe. That's the only thing I could think of. Because otherwise, I didn't see anything like in the match that indicated, it's like they were doing some great spots, like when that spot where Stephanie tried to do the spiral tap and she countered it into the triangle choke.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on. It's like,
yeah,
like even like Solomon should tweet out like that like look at this. This is dope. It's like these two are the future. It's like Solomon's like, look at this. This is why NXT. This is why they went out and got Julie and Stephanie. Like,
I will say this right now. Pro Wrestling Insider, you listen to me. I want you to listen to this. Of all the viewers, of all the dozens and dozens of viewers that we have, I know you're watching. If you put Stephanie Vacour, who's been in NXT, that's it, for this whole year, and you put her in the top 10 when you did not put Roxanne Perez in the top 10 last year, I want to know what your barometer is, because this is some bullshit, because they both deserve to be in it.
Right. Like what Roxanne did last year, she deserves to be in the fucking top 10 this year.
Oh, it was such bullshit when that happened last year.
Anyway, but so the fact that they were able to have that great of a match in such a short amount of time, just imagine what's going to happen when they're going to get like 20 plus minutes the next time.
And it's going to be for the NXT Championship because Thea Hale is going to come back and dethrone.
Right.
Stephanie.
So now the question is, are they going to have her try to defend both belts like Becky tried to do for a little bit before she dropped the SmackDown Women's Championship to Charlotte at Money in the Bank after Mania? Or is she going to do what Keith Lee did when he got defeated Karrion Kross? Or was it Cole? It's like I think
Cole.
It was Cole. When he defeated Cole as a North American champion, he had both belts. He vacated the North American Championship and held on to the NXT Championship.
I don't want them to. I kind of want to see her as with the two belts. But I think Jada Parker is going to be winning one of those.
Well, Fallon Henley's definitely going to want the.
Oh no, Fallon Henley's definitely going to be the next feud for her again. I think they're going to revisit that. But I just feel like Jada is going to be her next big feud.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens. I see them where like she's going to like. She's going to drop that Women's North American Championship. I don't see her being double belted for too long.
No.
Probably by stand and deliver, she's probably going to drop the Women's North American Championship and just stay NXT Women's Champion. Because when Julia comes back, they're going to have that rematch, and Julia's going to get her win back, and that's going to be a big moment for Julia. And they're going to hype it up because, and Corey brought it up. The last time they faced each other was for at Stardom for New Japan's Strong Women's Championship. It's like Stephanie beat her then. Stephanie's beaten Julia twice in a row now in singles matches. So that's going to be a big storyline. So like it's going to be a big deal when she comes back and gets that rematch, and it's going to be a big win for her. And that's going to be awesome because they're going to do it on a PLE. They're going to give them more time, and they're going to even have more of a banger. Now, what I'm wondering is NXT next week is going to be very interesting because if she is injured, it's like the way she's talking. It's not like she didn't say like anything like I have to I'm
Right.
stepping
She
away. or
never,
anything
no,
like that.
I thought that tweet that you read, I thought that was going to be like the end of it, being like, I'll see you again. But
No, it's like made clear. She's like, so I think we'll get a more clear idea. I think the problem, what I think is most likely to happen is like they'll have a segment where Julie and Stephanie talk, and she'll be like, congratulations, but it's like next time I'm gonna win the title back, and they're gonna be all like, like this fatal influence attacks, and they do an angle where they injure Julia, and so
yeah,
they do an injury angle with fatal influence to write Julia off TV for a while.
yeah.
And so then that makes Stephanie even more pissed off at fatal influence because they've been giving her a hard time, and then they go and injure her friend Julia on top of that and ruin like a moment between the two of them. It's like, so she's gonna be on the warpath. Yeah. So I think that's the most likely way. That's the way this is, because they've been bitching at Ava for weeks. So, and she's not done anything. So the only thing that makes sense is that they're going to do something. They're going to attack because they haven't gotten what they wanted. And what better way to do it would be to attack the both of them and then send a message to Stephanie by injuring Julia.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and speaking about random groups attacking people, what is this Shield 2.0? Where are they going with this crap?
we need to hear from them about what do they want, because all we've seen them do is just attack people randomly so far. And so we don't know what their goal is or what their agenda is. So they need to do something soon. They need to start talking. It's like we need to hear from them about what's their agenda. What are they after? Because the only thing we know right now is that they've been randomly attacking babyfaces. They've attacked Obafemi. They've attacked Javon. They've attacked a lot of people.
But they attacked. I mean, they left Ethan.
They've only been going after babyfaces because I'd make it clear that they're heels. So yeah, I agree that they really need to do something more with this group. So if they do an injury angle for Julia, that's going to be clear. Like, okay, yeah, she is injured. I think she is. It's the only, because other people like, are they calling her up? They're not going to call her up this quickly.
No.
It's like if I didn't know, the only things I would say, like, why did she had such a short run and dropped the title already, especially on a weekly TV special versus Stand and Deliver, is either she's getting called up, which makes no sense, or she's injured and she needs to take some time off. So she had enough time that they needed her to drop the title for the time being.
Here's why Julia won't be called up, and that narrative is BS.
Yeah.
Stephanie right now is more over than Julia.
Yeah.
So if you were going to call someone up, not name Roxanne Perez, it would be Stephanie.
Right.
Stephanie even came out and said they wanted me on the main roster, and I chose to go to NXT.
Exactly.
So that makes no logical sense whatsoever.
Triple H and company already felt that she was main roster ready and gave her
and she is.
She is. And credit to her that she wanted to learn how to WWE way and like Julia, work on her English. Mm-hmm. And their English have become quite good. They're able to communicate pretty well in English right now. So yeah, it's like, yeah, the injury reports now, the fact that she dropped, because I was like, all right, if she drops the title, the injury reports are definitely true. If it's a fuck finish, it's a fuck finish to build toward a rematch at Stand and Deliver. So, because that's the only two endings that made sense to me, is like Fatal Influence was getting involved, it was going to be a fuck finish and no clear winner. But since the other thing I want to say is that I also like that they both kicked out each other's finishers, and Stephanie had to hit her finisher twice in order to beat Julia. So that puts Julie over, even though she lost. That it's like Stephanie had to hit her finisher more than once to be able to beat her. So that makes Julia look really strong, even though she lost this match. This was a very nice back and forth match. It was very close. I loved it, and so gonna miss seeing Julie on TV for a little while, but that rematch in a couple months, in the next few months, it's gonna be a banger, and I can't wait. It's like just watching them, I'm just like, these two are just awesome. It's like they're the future, and it's like it's exciting. So now I also need to finally get a Stephanie Vaquer shirt. I mean, I think I'm gonna get the one that's got like half of her face, and like I kind of like that one. So I'm just gonna wait for like a good sale, and I'm gonna snag one.
Yeah, no,
Because I want to support both ways.
And I just need Roxanne to go to the main roster and them create a design that I actually like. That's the problem. I just don't like any of her two shirts, which is bull crap.
So it's going to be very interesting to see what they're going to have Stephanie do at Stand and Deliver with not being able to, because we all expected Julia Stephanie at Stand and Deliver, but this injury situation has thrown a complete monkey wrench in that plan, which is why they did this. So, do you think it could be Jordan? Do you think they do Stephanie Jordan this quickly, or do you think more it'd be something involving maybe Fallon Henley and or Jada Parker, maybe like a triple threat?
I think Fallon Henley's going to be involved.
Could we see her have to defend both titles in one match? Like remember WrestleMania 2000 where Kurt Angle had the Intercontinental Championship and European Championships, and he had to defend both titles against Jericho and Benoit in a triple threat. First fall was for one title. The second fall was for the other title.
They could. I mean, the ladder match for WrestleMania a couple years ago when, or maybe it might have been last year. It was last year when Awesome Truth won and A-Town Down Under, and they never announced that it was for, hey, one team wins one belt.
Yeah, they didn't. No, everyone was kind of like, we didn't know that they were splitting the titles until during the match. And they're like,
yeah, as soon as A-Town Down Under got them, they're like, they're the champions of SmackDown. We're like, what? No, that was never alluded to. So they could do that. I just feel like at the end of the day, they're going to have Fallon Henley involved.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a more clear picture on NXT next week because, like I said, it's like they're definitely going to come up with some kind of injury angle to because they're not going to have Julia just vanish. They're not going to do that to her. It's like it's like where's Julia, and they're not saying anything. They're gonna do some kind of injury angle to write her off TV for a while.
Yeah,
it'll probably involve, like I said, fatal influence is the only thing that makes sense.
And I'm waiting for NXT to see what the next stage of Ricky's.
Yeah, we'll see. I feel like the Ridge match, hopefully it's not the start of feud, is more just give them something until they figure out what they want to have him do for Stand and Deliver.
Yeah.
So there's only a couple weeks to Stand and Deliver. So this next week's show is definitely going to be important. We're going to get a clear picture of what matches we're going to expect at Stand and Deliver. Stand and Deliver is just a few weeks away. So, but Julia, Stephanie, you're both awesome. And I look forward to the rematch and the two of them just kicking ass on the main roster because
no, it's great. You're all going to lose to Roxanne Perez, so I'm sorry to burst your bubble.
Well, also that's the other thing. What do you think? Because they haven't done much. It's like, do you think the Bailey thing is over yet, or are they kind of like?
No, Roxanne. Let me look that up. Roxanne someone gave her crap for being on NXT again, and she barked back at him, and I can't remember. No. So literally, it was Bailey. So Bailey on March 11th said, "So Roxanne just ran back to NXT," and then Roxanne said, "BRB loser. The Prodigy is a hot commodity. Don't miss me kicking your ass too much." So they're still.
So okay, good. All right. So that means
That's like
that means that the beef is not squashed. So
yeah,
hopefully we'll get a clear picture for Roxanne as well, because it's like the only thing that makes sense to me is Bailey Roxanne.
Yeah, no, that's definitely. I just wish that Bailey didn't lose to.
Yeah, that's why I was like, really, you're gonna have her job to Raquel?
Nothing against Raquel. Raquel, she's earned our respect. That's that tag match.
It's like you could have effectively come up with a better way to come up with Lyra's next challenger, you know. And also this makes me wonder, like, you know, it's like, are they gonna bring Becky back before Mania, or is Becky gonna return after Mania?
Seth says she's ready in his little interview that he did recently.
Yeah, it's like the word is like, you know, she's ready. I guess they're just trying to figure out what kind of storyline they're going to use to bring her back. And so, well, I want them to figure out soon because I want. It's like I've missed Becky, and it'll be nice to see her back.
Yep. Well, we're at 2 hours, so congratulations, NXT. You win our Best Show of the Week award. Not being a pay-per-view.
Thank you, HBK, and everybody down at NXT. You delivered a banger show this week, and we still got Stand and Deliver to get to. So
Stand and Deliver. As far as SmackDown and Raw, come on, AEW,
gotta step it up, man.
Don't. I want to find where the princess in the castle is, AEW. Okay, don't do that to me again. Because you were on a roll, and then that main event happened, and then you followed it with that weird, dumbass show.
Right.
So, anyway, but for all you all out there that want to know other things we got going on this channel, on Sunday, you'll have myself and my buddy Jake doing a live reaction to Selection Sunday to help you get your brackets ready. We do a bracket here on the channel, Discord down below. If you want to join us over there, we talk anything and everything over there. We always have a great time. But we'll try and get you ready to have a perfect bracket. There's never been a perfect bracket in the history of history. So we're hoping that you will tune in so we can make it that way for you. And then coming on, we're going to try and bring back some fantasy F around stuff when the draft happens towards April, because we're getting to the end of March and the draft is coming up. Justin, he can just sit back and relax. He's got his quarterback forever, so he doesn't worry about the Buffalo Bills, but he is worried about Garrett Cole. I'm sorry I had to bring that up. I think the Yankees going to be fine. They just lost their ace and Soto to the Mets. But that's beside the point. It's a long season, 162 games. We're going to figure it out.
The best pitcher to Tommy John surgery for the year. Everything's going to be fine.
Everything's fine. You can trade deadline. They're going to make some moves. It's fine. It's fine. No scrambling. And then on Wednesday, you'll have us do the Rep Sports Wrap It Up as we wrap up everything that is in the world of sports. And then on Thursdays, you get Justin and I recapping everything that is in the week of wrestling. And then we're working on our next book for the book club. Thank you all for everyone else that has joined us for the first 2 episodes. Dungeon Crawler Carl. I believe that's the right name. Carl, I think that was the right name. For the book that we are reading this month. We always have our Discord members join us to kind of talk about the book as well as me and Soul break down the book. We always do it at the end of, obviously it's a month, so we only do a show once a month. I was trying to get that out and kind of was a little bit back and forth. Anything else? Like, subscribe, ring the doorbell stuff. We would love to comment down below. Why is NXT better than the rest of the main shows that we saw this week? Do that. Just tell us what you want. Tell us what you think about the world of wrestling. Tell us what you would like to hear about the world of wrestling, and tell us why me and Justin are awesome. I mean, spoiler alert, we are. You don't have to tell us, but we'd be great if you did. But that's all we've got for us today. Justin, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for working through it. I know, and hopefully you sound a lot better than you did. At least you seem a lot better as far as energy wise than you did last week. So hopefully by this time next week, we'll be talking about what the hell John Cena is going to be as a heel, because we should have something for him.
We'll find out on Monday.
And you will find out about our opinions Thursday. So that being said, thank you all, and we'll see you next time.